everybody. Thanks for coming to my garden this week to see what we've been doing. I didn't do a lot actually this week in the garden. It is about 5:30 on a Saturday, and this is usually the time of day that I'm out in my garden working. I love to work out in the garden from 5 to 7, however the sun and the weather permits me to do so. Don't have a lot to show you, but I did want to talk to you about something, and that is an idea that I had a while back when I had started the tomato vertical garden. And I had the idea because I had all of these seedlings that all came from the same place at the same time, and they were planted in different ways. And so I thought, well, it would be great to look back on some of the footage and see how the same seeds in the same seedlings produced differently and acted differently in the different ways that they were planted. So this journey actually starts about 5 years ago with a school fundraiser when I bought some vertical tomato kits out of a book that my son brought home from school. All right, so then officially though, this journey is going to start on December 8th. And December 8th was the day that I started the seedlings. Check out the seed packet. When I looked at it today to try to find out what the name of the actual strand of tomato that I was planting, it is a cherry tomato. It's I looked at the date on the bottom and it said 2015. This is what the seedlings looked like on December 21st. And I've got this here, which these all sprouted real nicely, and these were the cherry tomatoes that are going to go in the hanging bags. A week later, on December 28th, we went ahead and we planted the vertical garden. Now my intention was to take the 8 or 9 strongest plants, seedlings, and put them in the vertical garden, and then the rest of them I was just going to kind of plant around in some of the empty containers that I had. Well, welcome to the Florida weather. So after all that, I wasn't really left with too much option other than to just try to save the seedlings. And so to try to save the seedlings, what I did was I went ahead and I planted them, actually used this one here. I went ahead and planted them in there to try to go ahead and save them until I could do something else with them. And as you can see, it kind of turned out to be a sorry looking mess. I really didn't expect anything to happen from those seedlings anymore. But 7 days later, look at this. It looks like they're actually going to survive. So I'm really excited about that. The ones in the vertical garden are doing well, and these are doing well. So I'm all excited and have hopes for a great future. All right, we're going to flash forward another 3 weeks. Now we are in January 31st. We're at the end of January. It's been a month now since we got these seedlings started. And it's been raining, so I haven't watered a lot of stuff, but this dries out quicker than the rest, so I might need to put a little bit of water in there. Another 2.5 weeks later, I'm looking at all these seedlings in this hanging basket, and they're looking really, really crowded. The basket's drying out only after a couple of hours, so I know that I'm going to have to do something with this basket. Here's where we really start to have a difference of how we are handling the growth of all of these seedlings that started at the same time. One of the things that I got done was I did transplant the hanging basket that had the tomatoes in it. So in this pot, I have the one that was in its small container by itself. These came from the hanging basket. They were so intertwined that they would not come apart, so I just planted these clusters here. So now I have the 8 or 9 that I put aside for the friend. Okay, and then the smaller of the rest of the seedlings that were left in the hanging basket, I went ahead and planted them individually in their own little starter pots. I even had some left over that I couldn't get into individual pots, so I went ahead and just shoved those back into the hanging basket. This lasted for about a week. I knew it wouldn't last long. It was just a temporary fix. So while I'm now getting my first fruit from the vertical garden, I am having to deal with all of these tomato seedlings that I'm just not quite sure what to do with. So what I did was I started a tomato wall. I had pronounced my intention of trying to move the garden over into this certain area of our yard, which I did do. And here again is the tomato wall as it stands today. Here is how that looks on how I sort of started that. And I broke up the ground with the hand trowel first, then I came through with the shovel and made a little ditch. Even the little scragglers that were left in the basket ended up at the very end row over here. So, which are not looking all that great. They are producing some tomatoes. The tomato plants here are starting to flower, which means we'll have some tomatoes soon. Golds are a good thing to plant along with your tomatoes, which is also have flowers on it already. So like I said, this was always a video that I wanted to do, but then when I was at my friend's house about a week ago and I saw her tomato plants that I had given her, this was a video I knew I had to make. Because here you go, end result, here's the pictures of what her tomato plants look like. And now keep in mind again, this came from the same group that you would see here. These, and these, and these are all from the same seedlings. You can tell that they are all growing very differently and they are all doing very different things. And it's amazing to look now at the vertical garden that looked like it was almost going to die and to see how these have really shot up and become very green and full. So this was my harvest from today. So I really have nothing to complain about. I have more tomatoes than I can eat in a day. I'm making tasty sauces. In fact, when I'm done with this video, I'm going to go inside and have some leftover lasagna I made out of these tomatoes. So once again, thank you very much for coming by. I hope that you stop by again next week and see what I've done in my garden. I hope it'll be a more productive week than it was this week. And again, thanks so much for coming, and we'll see you real soon. Peekaboo. I see you. Hi. Can you wave? We're gonna have a staring contest.